साधिभूतादिदैवं मां साधियज्ञं च ये विदुः प्रयाणकाले च मां ते विदुर्युक्तचेतसः. So here Krishna is speaking to Arjuna. The conclusion of this chapter, therein he states, the purpose and perfection of everything rests in him. It is Krishna who is the spiritual essence of everything. If not for Krishna, then everything else will be empty, pointless. That is not a very easy message to digest. But Krishna is urging for the digestion of this message by stressing it repeatedly. At the start of the next chapter, that's the 8th chapter, Arjuna immediately asks what these specific terms mean. Sadhibhuta Adidaivam. So Adibhuta, Adi Yajna and Adidaiva. What do these terms mean? And we will discuss the technicalities of these terms when we come to that chapter. But right now, let's understand this in the context of the chapter. The 7th chapter started with Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunyan Madashriya Samshayam Samagram Mam Yathagya Sasita Shruno. Maya Saktamana Partha. Krishna says, thus your mind will become attached to me. How? Yogam Yunjan Madashriya. By practicing yoga, by taking shelter of me, asamshayam samagram mam yathagyasasi. And you will come to know me free from all doubts. Tachrunu. Know about this. So, no, hear this. Tachrunu. So, what Krishna tells in this chapter will initiate and propel the process by which Madashrayaha, Yogam Yunjan, Maya Saktamanaha, all this will take place. The mind will become attached to Krishna, one will take shelter of Krishna, one will practice yoga in relationship with him. That is Bhakti Yoga. And that will begin with Yathagyasasi. One will know him, Samshayam Samagram, and one will become free from doubts. So, if you consider in the light of the first verse what the Gita is going to speak in that chapter, and then we consider this last verse 7.30, we'll recognize the cyclic connection between the verses, and we'll realize that actually there is nothing as important, as defining, as consequential as the practice of bhakti with an understanding that Krishna is the be all and the end all. Krishna has said that specifically in Vasudeva Sarvamiti, that Vasudeva is everything. And one who understands this, since 7.19, that such a person is Jnanavan. Such a person is truly wise, truly knowledgeable. So now the question comes up that if such a person is truly wise, truly knowledgeable, then Krishna had also said before that in 7.17 that among the different kinds of people who come to him, he says, Tesham Jnani Nityayukta Eka Bhaktir Vishishyate Priyo Hi Jnanino Tyartham Aham Sabjama Priyaha. That among them the Jnani is the Tesham Jnani Nityayukta. The Jnani is well engaged in relationship with me. Eka bhaktir vishishyate is fixed in the practice of bhakti. Priyo hi jnanino atyartham. The Jnani is extremely dear to me. Aham sa cha mama priyaha. And I am also very dear to him. Now, what is the implication of Vasudeva Sarvamiti? What is it that the Jnani who becomes Jnanavan, as is mentioned in 7.19, what is the understanding? Krishna has stressed his spiritual transcendental position earlier, and further he stresses in this verse an elaboration in a particular framework of what that means. So, Saadhi bhutadi daivam mam sadhi yagyam chaye viduhun. Krishna says that the person who understands me to be the Adhibhuta, who understands Adhibhuta, Adi Daivam Mam, one who understands me to be the Adi Yagyam, Adi Yagyam Chamam Vidu, Adhibhutam, so Adhibhuta Adi Daivam Mam, Sadi Yagyam Chaye Vidu. So one who understands me to be the Adhibhuta, the Adi Daiva, and the Adi Yagya, such a person. Now, if we see Krishna is dropping terms here without explaining those terms. And that may lead to the question, what exactly is happening here? Why is Krishna dropping terms like this? And what does it imply in a practical sense? He is dropping terms like this. Sometimes the teacher may just speak something which is most likely going to be incomprehensible for a student, and the purpose is to check the attentiveness and the interest of the hearer. Is the person likely to, is person going to raise a question, which is what the person should do if the person is interested and attentive? Hey, what do these terms mean? Especially if the person doesn't know the terms and wants to know whatever the speaker is speaking, then the question should be raised. But sometimes dropping something unfamiliar is a way of checking the attentiveness and the sharpness of the person. Now, if we move onwards and we check how to deal with things, we'll see that Arjuna will immediately raise the question, and Arjuna, in that sense, demonstrates how he is a attentive and interested student. Next chapter, first two verses are themselves questions, and Krishna will explain these terms briefly in the next chapter. But along with that, another important point to consider is that Krishna is herein demonstrating the fundamental principle that when Krishna is be all and end all, that is not just a vague amorphous concept, but that's a concept which can be understood through different philosophical frameworks. And further, another concept that Krishna introduces in this verse is that prayana kale pichamam te vidur yukta chetasaha. Such person with their consciousness being engaged in yoga, with their consciousness being yukta, such people can prayana kale pichamam te vidur. Even at the moment of death, they will be conscious of me. Now, this is the second explicit reference to death in the Bhagavad Gita. Not second in terms of that has been talked about several times, but the consciousness at the time of death, that's the second reference over here. The first was in the last verse of the second chapter in 2.72, Esha te brahmi siti partha nainam prapya vimuhyati sitva asyam antakalepi brahma nirvana vrichyati. So sitva asyam antakalepi, one who is situated thus, sitva asyam, such a person can attain perfection. If one person, so this is the way of God, this is the consciousness that this is the state of Brahman consciousness, Eshate Brahmi Siti Partha, and one who's situated, Nainam Prapya Vimuhiti, one who's situated like this will not be deluded. And Sitva Asyam Antakalepi, if one is situated like this, then Brahma Nirvanam Richyati, one will attain the Brahman. And here Krishna is saying that Prayanakale, if one understands me thus, then Prayanakale Pichamam, if one understands me to be Adibhuta, Adidaiva, Adiyagya, then even at the time of death, one will be properly situated, one will be in proper consciousness. That means Krishna is prefacing here or giving a prelude of the concept of remembering him at the time of death, how that leads to perfection, which he'll be talking later. He mentions it briefly here. And Arjuna will ask a question about that also in the next chapter, which we'll discuss when we move to the next chapter. Thank you.